A story that, if it wasn't for awful announcing, I could make the case nobody would even know about. And that is the fact that since 1990, ESPN has covered Major League Baseball, and 2025, after 35 plus years of Major League Baseball on ESPN, will no longer be the case. And ESPN and Major League Baseball tried to frame this as a mutual parting of ways, though it really wasn't. ESPN basically opted out of the deal that they had with 3 years left on their contract. And this I find really interesting. And my debate partner over at Championship Rings, which is also in collaboration with Voltage Live, we do that show every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Josh Younger, he brought up an excellent point during our last show on Tuesday when he said that, ESPN could be ditching Major League Baseball to go after more WNBA rights as the WNBA is expanding, as the popularity of that sport is increasing. Maybe ESPN turns into a NFL slash basketball network. Now, obviously, they have their relationship with the NBA. Maybe they get into some WNBA action. You also have their partnership with the National Hockey League, and obviously we saw what the Four Nations game did, the highest viewed NHL game in history last week. But I do find this very strange because, Major League Baseball is pretty much synonymous with ESPN. You know, as I mentioned, ever since 1990, we know how popular baseball was back in the 90s. And how great in the mid 2000s Sunday Night Baseball was, right? With John Miller and the late great Joe Morgan and the video game partnerships that they had. I still play MLB 2K5 to this day. I still think it's one of the best video games, especially baseball video games of all time. And baseball has gone through a little bit of a slump. We know how bad they are marketing their stars. Though I would say the last 2 years, with the rule changes Rob Manfred has made, baseball is definitely appealing and catering to a more younger audience. Shohei Ohtani going to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Dodgers having Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, and obviously one of the most stacked baseball rosters that we have ever seen. I think getting Shohei Ohtani out of the Angels organization, which has been a complete dumpster fire, getting him to the Dodgers. We all knew Shohei Ohtani was one of the best talents to ever play Major League Baseball, but getting him on that major stage with big marketing, more primetime games, I think only did the sport better. I thought last year's postseason matchups, between the Mets and San Diego, between the Dodgers and San Diego, between the Mets and the Phillies, Guardians, Tigers, Guardians, Yankees, Yankees, Royals, even the Dodgers, Yankees World Series. I thought last year's postseason Major League Baseball was one of the best postseasons they had. The story here, though, is ESPN does not have MLB postseason rights outside of the wild card round. Now, MLB's media partnership with TBS slash Turner Sports and Fox ends in 2 years, in 2028. That's when they can sort of renegotiate who's going to get the World Series, who's going to get the ALDS, NLDS, AOCS, NLCS, etc. ESPN's partnership obviously includes Sunday Night Baseball, the wild card round, some opening day coverage, as well as, occasionally they've done some Wednesday Night Baseball as well, though even Sunday Night Baseball has been kicked to the curb on ESPN2. They've been very reliant on Yankees, Red Sox, as we know, over the past few years, and it just feels like ever since John Miller and the late great Joe Morgan left the booth almost a decade ago, Sunday Night Baseball, in my opinion at least, as a Gen Z sports fan, has not felt the same. But I think, this is an interesting opportunity for MLB. We know they've tried some streaming services excuse me, in the past. Peacock, their Sunday morning edition did not work out. The Roku deal did not work out. So I do find it interesting here. What is Major League Baseball going to do, right? I think they have an opportunity here to go after some big players in the market. Like, does NBC, because they're going to be bringing back basketball, excuse me, obviously next year, beginning in the fall, do they sort of do a Sunday night basketball? I know they're going to do Sunday night basketball in America in February, but in the summer, do they take an opportunity to get a small Major League Baseball Sunday night baseball on NBC package and sort of correlate that with basketball and so you have football, basketball, baseball all year long? I think CBS would be a great partner for Major League Baseball because of the fact that, outside of March Madness, after football season, the only real sport they have is golf. And so, they could do a Sunday night baseball package very easily, and both NBC with Peacock, CBS with Paramount Plus already do have a built-in streaming service option built in where you can do some streaming exclusive games. I think Amazon, obviously year round, what they have right now, with the NFL on Thursday nights, then they're going to bring in the NBA on Thursday nights after football season. Do they have the opportunity to bring in Sunday Night Baseball with their streaming service? We know what Netflix has done with Monday Night Raw. They are reportedly looking to add more sports. Do they get in on the Major League Baseball? And we know, what baseball is doing with their media rights package now with Bally Sports. A lot of these teams, including the Cleveland Guardians and my own this year, are moving to essentially a streaming service for everybody where you could pay $100 to get all 162 Cleveland Guardians games this year. So I've been very critical of Rob Manfred in the past, but I think baseball knows that its fan base needs to get younger. They're no longer catering to the old school boomers. And even though baseball is a very traditional game, we've seen now with the NBA and the NFL, it can elevate with the times as well. And so, again, baseball has tried streaming services in the past. I think it's very plausible that an Amazon or a Netflix can get in the race, but I do like the idea of a main broadcast partner. This is the other thing that baseball sort of talked about is they would like to do sort of streaming and broadcast TV. They feel like cable television, like an ESPN, a TBS, etc., sort of die, which maybe lends you to believe that maybe in a couple of years they don't re-up with Turner Sports. If Turner Sports loses the NBA and Major League Baseball outside of the NHL and I guess AEW, I don't know what else they have. So I think Rob Manfred is showing his cards here. They're going to go after a broadcast partner. I predict that to be CBS, which again, I think right after March Madness, you tie it in with baseball, it sort of ends the same way around that time every single year. And then you have that, plus you have a streamer option in Amazon or Netflix. But this is a big deal, right? ESPN has been, I would argue, more known for their baseball and basketball coverage year round than NFL coverage before Joe Buck and Troy Aikman came in the past decade to sort of save Monday Night Football. ESPN is now moving off baseball. Baseball is moving off ESPN, and this partnership now solidifies potentially a new era for both. For ESPN, I think it moves them more into a maybe a winter network outside of the NFL, where it's more of a basketball hockey network, right? Where they have the NBA, they have the WNBA potentially, as well as the NHL. And for baseball, I think you split these media rights deals up. I think again you can give Amazon a small package, maybe even a wild card round in there. You give CBS some of the wild card games, you give CBS a Sunday Night Baseball, and it gives you even more of an opportunity to reach a broader network. Again, I think this is a major story that could have bigger implications down the line that no one is talking about, in my opinion, at least right now. Like that clip from the Brand Sport podcast.
If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brains World podcast right here on YouTube.